Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday evening of Spotlight here on JTV Channel 55. I'm Jtvlivenet, and we have a tight show for you tonight. We have Sean Rose, of course, bringing you those stories making the news this week, and Brother Bevan George of Little Speakers Touch. He's going to be talking about his upcoming I Am the Future series, a workshop for young men ages 10 to 18. Talking about the role of man, the budgeting and finance, and the role of spirituality in the life of a person. Also, I have Brother Meade Malone, financial planner, author, and motivational speaker. He's here to talk about his upcoming financial planning workshop expo entitled Unlock Your Financial Freedom and Live the Life You Deserve. And a very, very special guest, Minister of Communications and Works, the Honorable Mark Vanterpool. He's going to talk about the cruise ship pier expansion and landside development. You know, there was some controversy surrounding the bidding process, the tendering process of that project, and there was ongoing controversy from its inception about Virgin Islanders' participation in the project and so on. It looks like it appears that maybe the UK had something to do with it because, you know, we had the Royal Caribbean writing a big letter of complaint, and it's all kinds of controversy surrounding that project. And Honorable Vanterpool is going to be here to clear that up tonight. And you're going to have an opportunity to question him off just like I will, because I got the serious questions. So before we go to the break, we're going to talk to Brother Sean Rose. Sean, what's happening? What's the big news this week coming up?
Thank you, Jtvlivenet. Good evening, viewers. Earlier today, we had a major tourism establishment on Norman Island being destroyed by fire. The Pirates restaurant along the beach there on Norman Island, a very popular tourism site establishment for particularly water-based visitors. You know, right along the beach, you can easily swim up and go on shore and get yourself your favorite meal or drink. That was destroyed by fire today, and the news of that fire was really made public officially by the tourism minister and premier, Dr. Orlando Smith. Now, the cause of the fire is yet to be verified. However, one can understand that in today's world, anything is possible. And we are keeping our ears to the ground to find out exactly what may have caused that incident.
So you got investigation going on by the fire department, I suppose?
They would have the investigations going on, and so too would all of us, particularly in the media and so forth. We are going to be, very, very keen as to exactly what could have happened, because threats of, or I should say, allegations of larceny and what have you, those we want to rule those out. We want to wait until we get the facts and hear exactly what could have happened.
Now, certainly off-island venues and places where tourists hang out and have a good time, you know, fun places in the Virgin Islands. There's some challenges there with firefighting services, isn't there?
There you go.
Is that a big issue that's going to come up out of this particular situation?
Precisely, and ultimately it will be taken into consideration for all of the other, small islands across the territory. Although in many cases these establishments are very close to the water's edge, yet it would be difficult to fight a fire given the difficult circumstances in terms of access. So maybe one would have to take into consideration the need for portable or at least sea-based water fighting instruments and equipment.
And then you would have to have someone on the island that has some knowledge of firefighting, I suppose.
Yes.
They have some skills. I don't know what skills actually required, but it seems like that's going to be an issue that's going to come up. Because,
yes.
I mean, it was the whole place, the whole restaurant destroyed totally?
Well, we have seen some images of it, and one can say, yes, it was really destroyed. It was gutted by the fire. The structure itself was primarily made of wood, so it wouldn't have taken much time for the fire to destroy what was really there. in terms of safety precautions, those are considerations as well, and we all should take that into account as it relates to how we prevent fires. However, it has happened, and we now need to do the assessment and see what may have been the cause.
What else you have there for us, Sean?
Well, earlier you alluded to it in your introduction. Many people are wondering what is next for the Road Town Cruise Pier expansion project. Lots of, again, the word on the street, lots of allegations, and the fingers are being pointed in different directions. We know that the Premier, again, Minister for Finance and Tourism, did indicate last week that Tortola Port Partners, they were pretty much Pier Partners rather, they were dropped because they didn't meet the conditions precedent in time for carrying out the project. We were anticipating a start sometime before the end of this year in terms of the actual cruise pier expansion, and much discussions have been going on relative to the landside development of the project. Lots of pros and cons were taken into consideration, and now we are wondering, many people are wondering, what is next for this project?
Well, certainly it's a great opportunity for the government to create a facility for greater participation for local investment. And I think that's what many of us are looking forward to, our ability to pool our resources and to help finance this project and reap the rewards of the benefit of the project. Another question is whether the government will be able to make the deal with the cruise lines that Tortola Pier Partners have made in the past, and the financing, how is that going to be arranged? And of course, you have the question with the borrowing guidelines, the contingent liabilities, the UK involvement and approval. So there's going to be a lot of questions tonight. I think
yes.
You better call your friends and family all across the world and have them tune into Spotlight, because the Spotlight, I'm going to have 2 spotlights on.
And the topic really affects us all in the territory, irrespective of one's status, because as the Premier said, the project, any further delay of this cruise pier expansion project could jeopardize the BVI's competitiveness and realization of economic opportunities for the territory, particularly where tourism is concerned. But let's look at the spill-off effects for the businesses and then the entire development of the territory on a whole. This is a very important project. We are aware, in the same way that the airlines, the aircraft they're building these days are much larger and require longer runways. So too, in particular, the cruise ships, they are pretty much larger. And the draft is much deeper, so we have to ensure that we do the necessary preparations to welcome these ships. I was in St. Thomas recently, and I saw that even there they are making extensions to their own cruise pier facility. The BVI obviously would have to step up and get in line.
Certainly we can't be left behind. Well, Sean, those sound like interesting stories that's going to be coming up, and of course the minister's going to be here tonight, and he's going to answer many of those questions that we just raised, and much more. We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Brother Bevan George of Little Speaker's Touch about the upcoming workshop he has for 10 to 18-year-olds about the role of men, budgeting and finance, and spirituality in one's life. Keep it locked right at the Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
Calling all CCT Internet customers. Did you know if you have CCT Internet service including internet on your phone, you can connect to CCT's 4G Wi-Fi service free of charge? That means you can enjoy unlimited high-speed CCT Wi-Fi on any Wi-Fi device. Browse the web, check your mail, stay connected to any of CCT BVI's hotspots for free. Call CCT today and request your exclusive CCT Wi-Fi username and password and join the CCT Wi-Fi network. CCT, the home of unlimited.
Educational institutions are often best judged by the quality of their graduates. At the Hamilton Lapidus South Community College, the educational experience offered enhances the lives of graduates, and through them, organizations, and communities as well. I believe HLSCC graduates represent the rich tapestry of skills, attitudes, and personalities needed for any community to thrive. I am Zebulon McLean, Chief Fire Officer of the Virgin Islands Fire and Rescue Service, and a proud alumnus of HLSCC, where I obtained a Certificate of Achievement in Disaster Management and 2 associate degrees in Business Administration and Finance before furthering my studies abroad. I also serve as an adjunct lecturer at HLSCC and enjoy participating in the college's 2-mile race series. I fully support the efforts of HLSCC to deliver tertiary education to the Virgin Islands and the region. And now, because of HLSCC, I am making a difference.
Remember, at HLSCC, your tomorrow begins today.
For any job, be it residential or commercial, Clarence Thomas Limited is the British Virgin Islands' best choice for a wide variety of supplies to help tackle any task. Refresh the interior and exterior of your home with our selection of paint and painting supplies. For home improvements, CTL is your one-stop source for sinks, tubs, toilets, faucets, and decorative products. Convert your yard into a landscape paradise with tools and supplies from our lawn and garden center. Or visit our lumber yard where you can build that house from the ground up. Visit our convenience stores location at Pasea, Port Purcell and Tortola, and the Valley Virgin Gorda. We provide something for everyone. Clarence Thomas Limited, the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Tempt your taste buds in the British Virgin Islands this November through 2 spectacular culinary events when the BVI Tourist Board presents BVI Restaurant Week and the Anegada Lobster Festival. Top-notch chefs, spiny lobster dishes, cook-offs, a VIP dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner menus at unbelievable prices, and tons of fun on these beautiful Caribbean shores. Festivities begin the 22nd of November and continue until 1st December. For more information, contact the BVI Tourist Board at 1-284-494-3134 or visit bvitourism.com/restaurant week or bvitourism.com/Anegada Lobster Festival.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Brother Bevan George of Little Speaker's Touch. Welcome, my brother. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Yes, man. Doing great things, you and Mrs. George. Started an organization called Little Speaker's Touch. Talk a little bit about the background, the idea, the goals, and so on. What's your vision for having this type of organization?
Well, Little Speaker's Touch, first we started out to be like a business. But then we realized if you really want to help the youths, you got to be a non-profit. You can't be doing this for profit. So we now is a non-profit Little Speaker's Touch Youth Empowerment. I think that's what it is. Little Speaker's Touch Youth Empowerment Foundation or something like that. So we're now a non-profit. We have our own location. We're located upstairs, Coma, and in the suite number 5. And our main mission is to empower the youths because somebody got to do it.
And when you say empower the youths, empower them in what way?
If you go to school, you're going to school to learn, to get education. So in school, the most thing is education driven. You're not learning life skills. So our mission is to, what do you call it? What do you say?
Bring life skills to the young people?
Yeah, like, I can't remember the catchphrase. I should have my wife here.
Well,
But that's our main goal. And this program what we're bringing up now, the I Am the Future. The I Am the Future series is a 2-part series. And it's catered towards males. Our first program we had was Shape Up. That was what we had in the Easter. We continue to have it in the Easter. It's for young ladies. And we never had a boys program. We have a Christmas camp And now we're having these 2-part series for males between 10 and 18.
So basically, you're giving information to young males on
how to
live, how to be a man,
how
how to plan, how to budget,
Yeah.
and
Because
manage money
a
and
society
so on.
can't function without the male them taking their role. That's the main problem we're having right now in society. Nobody wants to admit that, but the males, you have to teach a male to be a male, regardless of what. He have to have a father figure. If the father ain't there,
Somebody got to do
somebody gotta do it. So if you don't have no other organization, and people keep saying, "Oh, the youths this and the youths that," our organization, we stepping up to the plate. We bring in we bring in whatever you need. We see the problem, and we bring in a solution to solve the problem.
Okay. So this is part 1 of I'm the Future series.
Yeah, we name it I Am the Future because we want the young men to know that you are the future. Point blank, you the future.
And you want them to step up and take their roles. Now,
Yeah.
why you select as young as 10-year-old? You think that they can understand what all of this means?
Because right now, if you could see what's going on in the juvenile court, and you could, and from us interacting with young people, 10 years old done doing more thing than what you in do since you how old you 50. Them doing more than what you done, what you know. Children now more advanced than what we think. They are. They're not stupid. They see.
So they old at a young age.
They all at a young age. We tell to be honest, they all at a young age. Some of these children on smoking, looking woman. So you try to tell me he 10 years old, he know what going on?
So if he could look woman,
If he could look woman,
he
he need to be able to know what his role is, how he need to take care of your woman, how to budget the money, so he don't be up and down in a rum shop, spending money on bike and car. He need to know all of these things to prepare himself. I don't care how small he is. You need to learn to budget your money. You need to learn your role as a man. So 10 years old, he should be. That's like high school, growing up age.
Yeah. Now you have we talk about being a man. One of the topics is the role of a man.
Yeah, the role of a man.
Yeah, and budgeting and finance and importance of spirituality in one life. Now, from your perspective, what is going to be presented regarding the role of a man? What do we need to tell our young people about what a man's role actually is?
From how we gonna have it set out, the man role is to lead. I don't mean, when I say leading, I don't mean what I say must go.
To oppress the woman.
Yeah, don't oppress the woman. It's a partnership in a relationship. That's what you call, it's a partnership. But your role, you have to be the one to lead. When you have children, I have children. If my wife trying to discipline them, they ain't studying shit. If I come in, I ain't got to do nothing. I just come in, I support her as the man. The children listen. They know when daddy come, that's it.
Game over.
That's it.
Yeah.
Daddy is the leader. What daddy say goes. The man is the head, and the lady, she follow. So you have to lead your family.
You know, some people are going to say that's old-fashioned and
It's old-fashioned.
It's an equal partnership. Are we,
Yeah.
are we saying that? I mean, that's how we grew up. I mean, I don't know how old you are,
But no, if they that is old-fashioned, you know. Look at the animal kingdom. The lion and thing don't protect the women. He don't be the one as the leader. Women always, no matter how you look at animals, the women always follow the men. So our society now, the man them ain't taking up their role. So we are having a fall off. The young man them doing what they want. The players going in chaos. And they're saying it don't have leadership, it don't have this, it don't have that. Because the man them, you ain't doing your role. Your role is to lead and be that figure for somebody to look up to. Even if you have to be there.
So as older people, say people my age, we have dropped the ball then in passing on.
I feel them drop the ball.
In passing
Yeah,
on. the role.
I personally feel they have a generation somewhere the older generation, they drop the ball. Because you can't tell me if you are teach us. You're going to say, oh, everything used to be like this. Oh, it used to be like that. Well, if it used to be like that, why it stopped being like that? I just come here. I meet you doing nothing. I doing what you want. If you come and you set the boundary and say, hey, brother.
I ain't giving you no guidance.
Yeah, this is how we do things. Yeah? All right. And I can follow. But if you let me to raise up myself, I can raise myself the best way I know how.
I put you in front of the TV and I turn you loose.
And when you put me in front of the TV,
it's madness.
Whatever I see there, I do. And that's because how we looking at males now? They got the most woman, they got the most money, but they ain't really all.
You have the best looking car.
Yeah, and
or you're driving a scooter. Your pants dragging below your bum.
Yeah, that what you see on TV, and that what you see coming out now. That what you see now.
You see it everywhere.
If you don't want to buy with your pants on the bottom, you ain't supposed to tell you. But who you is to come tell me now? Don't wear my pants down on my bum. My son go from here, my pants, me want a tight pants. Who's you? Where you come from?
They ain't listen to your
They ain't listen. That's how they're trying to say. I tell you now, the young children know. They're watching every single thing these adults do. We deal with them every day. Every Saturday we have, this is one of our programs. This is a free program. It's called Connect Call. The reason we did Connect Call was to get taught farmers, high school children, again, we dealing with high school. This is male and female. We started with the taught farmers. Some of them, they're in food farm now. So we still continue the program. After this, after next year, the next taught farm, we will try to get a next taught farm cohort to come through. So this group here, they're still in the program and they're in food farm now. And you listen to these children, they ain't dumb. They're young adults. Treat them like adults. All they need is guidance. And if you guide somebody on the right path, they're going to reach wherever they have to reach.
So who's going to be presenting these workshops? You have the role of a man.
Okay, we have Pastor Claude Klein, Melvin, Dr. Melvin Turnbull, and Mr. Mead Malone.
Okay.
Mr. Mead Malone, he'll be doing the budgeting part.
The financing and the budgeting and financing.
Yeah, Mr. Turnbull, that's the spirituality.
Okay.
And I picked Claude because to me he'll come across like a rough. He's a good speaker to me.
He's a good speaker and he have a good understanding of what a man's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I mean, you see him on television. He has shows.
Yeah, he have relationship, and he know.
Yeah.
So I think he will be able a good person to speak to young men about what's your role. How should you behave as a man? Yeah. And ain't everybody can know that.
Yeah.
You
have some good presenters. I mean, Dr. Turnbull has been a pastor for many years, and dealing with many of those issues. If you hear him preach, he's dealing with many of those issues, those same issues as a role of men in relationships, as well as spirituality.
Yeah, because to me, nobody is saying you got to go church and be all, but being spiritual and having a moral compass inside of you
is important.
That's important. Because you got to know what's right from wrong.
Yeah, you got to know right from wrong.
And you have to know that whatever you do in life, regardless you think somebody, you're watching somebody watching you, brother.
Yeah. And you got to be an example.
And you got,
Now, this is going to be when? When is this?
This is on October 19th. On Saturday, October 19th. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's $75 a child, and that include food. They'll get lunch and snack.
So it's more or less an all-day workshop.
It's an all-day workshop.
Yeah, there's going to be lunch, and they're going to be and you're going to have instructions from 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
And it's located in our conference room at Coma Trading at suite number 5.
Suite number 5.
Yeah.
Okay. And if somebody wanted to get, how do you register and get your kid in the
You could call
shop?
343-5301, or you could visit the office between 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Upstairs Coma to get a registration.
So repeat that that number again.
343-5301 or 544-1053.
Okay. Or you could come to Suite 5.
Or come to suite number 5 at Coma Trading. Yeah.
Okay.
Between 3 to 6.
Between 3 and 6.
Yeah.
And you have, it's a $75 registration fee.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you're encouraging parents to come down and
Well, parents,
bring the children.
Even if you know somebody, if you know a young man in the community, and maybe you know his parents can't afford it, and you think he should come to this program, just ask his parents for the permission for him to go, and you pay for him to come.
Okay.
It's a community thing. If you know, because if we're gonna make it free, we're gonna make it free. But you know,
food costs.
Food costs, location costs,
you got rent, you got everything.
Staff costs, paper costs,
yeah, everything costs.
And we ain't got no fairy godfather waving no one telling me
no sponsors.
Nah.
Yeah.
Everybody saying them broke.
Yeah. So, but this is important for young people to start learning these things, and of course, those of us who have this information need to start sharing this information with our young people. A lot of times we share the information with each other
and not,
to improve ourselves, but then the young people coming behind, we don't reach out to them. So this is a great opportunity for us to reach out.
Say, oh,
they ain't no good.
That's the problem, but you ain't teach them.
The problem is us.
Your problem is us.
Yeah. And my brother, I think it's a good thing to do, and I wish you success with it. I hope people watching the program will call and register the young people, and you prefer to have this is for young males.
It's for young males between high school age,
between 10 and 18.
Yeah.
Between 10 and 18.
It's for males. Only
males.
Yeah.
Only the young men. Okay. So they can, when they call, they could talk to you, Bevan George, or to Stephanie.
They talk to Stephanie.
To Stephanie George.
Yeah.
Stephanie Brody George.
Yeah.
And give me that number one more time before we take a break.
343-5301 or 544-1053 or 443-4947. That's my number.
We got a few seconds remaining in the segment. Anything you want to say, make a pitch, or ask people to come out and
well, I'd just like you to encourage your sons, your nephews, your friend, your uncle. Because you even know some people have young uncles. Bring them to the program. This is all community, and we need to teach our young men and uplift our young men to be the men they need to be to lead this country forward. Because if we don't do it, who going to do it? We have to make all young men know that they are the leaders of tomorrow. Ain't nobody can come from nowhere and going to run this country. We have to run this country for ourselves. We have to look out for all children after us and the generations to come.
My brother, thank you very much for being a guest on Spotlight. And again, it's a great idea, a great job. I wish you all the success with it. And we hope people call up and register and come down and bring the young people to benefit from this great program. Pastor Mel, I know, is going to give a great presentation. Yeah. Pastor Klein is going to give a great presentation. And of course, I'm going to have a financial expert, Meet Malone, coming up next. And we're going to hear from him about his workshop coming up in a couple of weeks. And actually, this weekend and next weekend. And he's going to talk about financial planning, unlocking your financial freedom, and living the life you deserve. So you know he's been doing this for a while.
A long time.
So those kids going to have some tremendous presenters with a vast array of knowledge, and it's going to be a great benefit. So don't take this lightly. Come out and support it, and support the young people. We're going to take a break forward from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to come back with financial planner, author, motivational speaker, Mr. Mead Malone, to talk to us about his upcoming financial planning workshop and expo. And of course, don't forget, a little later on, Honorable Mark Vanderpool is going to be here to talk about the Cruise Pier project and the landside development. Keep it locked right here, Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and Jtvlivenet Stout Community College.
Serving the community for over 25 years, Tortola Concrete Limited is the leading producer of concrete products in the BVI. With grades of 3,000 to 5,000 PSI, Tortola Concrete ready-mix quality unmatched in the industry, and we can mix to your specifications. Our aggregates are clean through our unique washing process for our smooth, clean mix. And our special chilling process makes our concrete crack resistant. Tortola Concrete Limited is the concrete company for all your quality concrete products. Gravel, road base, face stone, boulders, armor rock, coarse sand, terrace, and the cleanest, strongest, crack-resistant, ready-mix concrete. Tortola Concrete batch plant serve you Monday to Saturday, 7 a.m. until the last load. Our knowledgeable, effective staff gives you free estimate and delivers on time to any location. Contact Tortola Concrete at 494-3259, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Conveniently located in Parkwood Pond near the BVI electricity plant. At Tortola Concrete Limited, the strength is in the mix.
Life is like a mountain you must climb. Life is like a treasure you must find. A baby learning how to talk. With just one step begins to walk. One step at a time will lead you to paradise. Your dreams are there to find. One step to paradise.
Tempt your taste buds in the British Virgin Islands this November through 2 spectacular culinary events when the BVI Tourist Board presents BVI Restaurant Week and the Anegada Lobster Festival. Top-notch chefs, spiny lobster dishes, cook-offs, a VIP dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner menus at unbelievable prices, and tons of fun on these beautiful Caribbean shores. Festivities begin the 22nd of November and continue until 1st December. For more information, contact the BVI Tourist Board at 1-284-494-3134 or visit bvitourism.com/restaurant week or bvitourism.com/Anegada Lobster Festival.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Social Security. How may I help you?
I'm here to find out about my husband's Social Security. You hear about that bad accident? Tis my husband get mashed up. So I come to find out about his security.
I'll be happy to help you. Let me see what you have.
Man, I have plenty bills.
There's a lot of bills. Taxi bill, hospital bill, a ambulance bill. He went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it was a serious accident, you know. The thing fall down and he nearly kill him.
So sorry to hear that.
So, when I gonna get some of that security money?
We process claims quickly. Let me just check on his contribution status. Miss, your husband's contributions are not up to date.
What? What do you mean by that?
He is registered with Social Security, yes, but contributions have not been paid in for him for over a year. I am so sorry, miss. He does not qualify to receive a benefit.
You got to be joking. He has been working all these years. What happened to his contribution? How are we going to pay all these bills? Miss, check again. Check again, miss, please. Check again.
Surprised? No need to be surprised. All insured persons should check on their contribution status at least once per year. Remember, you must secure your tomorrow today. Check on your contribution status right away.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with my good friend, financial planner, author, motivational speaker, Mr. Mean Malone. He's going to talk about his upcoming financial planning workshop at an expo entitled Unlock Your Financial Freedom and Live the Life You Deserve. Brother, welcome.
Great to be here.
Yes, man.
Great to be here,
Yes.
brother.
Always good to see you.
Good to see you
and
too.
I regret not having more time.
Yes.
But I know everything is busy.
It's busy. Yeah.
Financial plan. I mean, when you're not talking about motivating
Yes.
yourself and raising your level of consciousness, particularly when it comes to discipline and spirituality,
Yes.
you're talking about finances.
Yes.
And it dawned on me in checking out your email and what you're going to be talking about, that we have a discipline problem when it comes to our financial management.
Yes.
How are we going to overcome that?
Well, I think that one of the reasons we have a discipline problem is because we haven't charted out the course or the direction we're headed in. And so because we haven't done that, then our decision-making process and our discipline around our finances disappears. But if you have a good idea of what you want to try and achieve, I think that discipline comes into place. I'll give you an example. When my wife and I were building a house and we would go to the United States, we would want to go to some fancy places to buy shoes and all those things. But the discipline of what we were trying to achieve meant that we went to, pay less shoes to buy shoes, and or to buy slippers or to buy something like that.
Or you didn't go shopping at all?
Or we didn't go shopping at all, Our goal helped to structure the discipline in our lives.
And the problem is that we don't plan. We don't have
Exactly.
any goals. We get the money and we just spend the money.
Exactly.
We don't think about what we're buying, whether we have to buy it or not, do we need it or not. We just reflex.
Exactly. And I think that's the major problem. And I'm not sitting here like as if I got it together. I mean, we all have that problem. But I think that when you can sit down and articulate what your goals are, then that turns on your discipline switch in your system, and you'll see the discipline will come into play once you get that
How
clear.
is this seminar and this workshop, this expo going to help us?
Well, one of the things that we do in the workshop is that, first of all, we help people think about, what are my future goals? And then we help them prioritize it. And then we help them develop what we call a financial vision statement around it so they can write it down. Because a lot of the problems, Cromwell, is that we have an idea in our mind, but oftentimes we don't note it, we don't write it down. And there's a power in writing it down. And then we help them to understand and look at, now that you have this goal, what are some of the things that you need to do in your day-to-day life or change that would help you to achieve this goal? So if every time I got paid, I went out with the boys and blew my money, with the boys, and then that before the end of the month is finished, I don't have any money, I've made no savings. I may have a goal to build a house, but I will never get there because my activities and my actions don't allow me to do the things that are necessary to achieve that.
I want you to just touch a little bit up on the power of writing down. What does that do to your mind, writing the thing down?
Yes. I think what it does is that it translates it from being a mental note to being an actionable item in your life.
And you remember it better.
You remember it better. There's something about writing it down, and not only writing it down, putting it in a place where you can visualize it and see it on a continuous basis. The good books say, write the vision, make it plain. And so there's something about writing the vision down that translated from being a mental note into being an actionable item, and that's critical.
And the workshop and the expo is structured around this kind of activity. How is that going to be structured, and what should we expect to benefit?
Well, you know, when you come to the workshop, what we do is we go through the whole idea of the importance of a vision around your finances. And then what we do is we give participants a workbook which helps them to select different financial priorities. We give them examples, we give them formulas to figure out how much they need to save on a monthly basis in order to achieve their financial goals. We do all of that. And then what we do in the workshop is that we have a number of organizations that is coming to help people just figure out the basic information they need. So we have bankers, we have lawyers, we have insurance agents, we have the Jtvlivenet Community College is going to be there, the Scholarship Trust Fund Board is going to be there, the Scholarship Unit of the Ministry of Education is going to be there. Why is it important? Because if you want to build a house, what you need to understand is what are the bank's requirements for you to build a house. And when you understand what those requirements are, you can begin to put a plan of action around achieving the down payment to build the house. And if you want to send a child to college, what you need to understand is what are all of the cost implications of sending a child to college. Oftentimes, we only think about the tuition, but what about room and board? What about food? What about travel to and from the BVI? All of those other aspects you need to think about because you need to understand that. And then we will have the Scholarship Trust Fund Board. It will have the commercial banks there to help you to understand what are the requirements to qualify for a loan to send your child to school. And so that's going to be part of the workshop. When you go and collect all of that information, we help you to then prioritize. Because let's face it, Cromwell, not all of us, very few of us make the money to do everything all at once. So you're going to have to prioritize. But one of the things that we want to try and help people do is prioritize in a way that's a stepped approach towards achieving an ultimate goal. And so we just line those things up and then look at what you are doing and then try and see what are the things that you can peel away that's affecting you accomplishing the goal that you've set for yourself.
So come to the workshop with at least a goal in mind.
Definitely.
At least a goal in mind.
Definitely.
And when you come to the workshop, all of what you need to achieve that goal, you will leave that workshop with that thing.
Definitely. You would leave with the knowledge of what you need to accomplish that goal when you leave the workshop. And you will have all of the resource person in one place, under one roof, excited and geared up to help you get the knowledge and the information that equips you and informs you of what you need to accomplish that.
Because really and truly, the real challenge is for us in planning and execution is that we really don't know the steps, we don't really have the information.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And come and be ready to ask questions. Dr. Dawson was on the show with me this morning, and he's all fired up and ready to go. Albert Whitley from the Scholarship Trust Fund Board and some of his other members are there. They're ready to go. I know the ministry has contacted me about the scholarship. The banks are going to be there, Scotiabank, First Caribbean, Banco Popular. They're going to be there ready to give you information. Colonial, Nagico Insurance, because in our financial plan we need to make sure we have insurance, because if something happens it can derail you. None of us can save enough money to take care of the unexpected things that happen in all of our lives. So insurance plays a role. And if you want to if you have funds and you want to invest it and you want to understand what are some of your investment options, we'll be there. MWM Financial Services will be there, and Merrill Lynch will be there to help you and understand some of your investment options that you have.
Okay. So do you have a list of presenters, or those persons from those various companies will be doing the presenting and doing and sharing the information?
I will be doing most of the presenting, but those individuals will be there as part of the workshop to present and give you information on all the different areas that I just spoke about.
Now, vision and goals are not easy for all of us to come by.
Yes.
And some of us might come out of curiosity or just hoping to get something to just want to straighten our lives out. Our lives might not be going the way we want it to go. We might not be living that life we deserve.
Yes.
And we might say, well, I want to see what this is about, but don't really have a goal.
Yes.
What can we expect?
Well, one of the things that we do is we help people to prompt them. So what we'll do is we give you a workbook, and in it we will list some typical goals that people have. Now, you don't have to stay within that confine, but it may just spur you in terms of a goal that you may have. And I think a lot of people have goals, Cromwell, but they have sort of buried them because they don't see the money. They're living from day to day. They can't see the way out.
They feel that they're not achievable.
They feel the goals are not achievable. What we do, not so much in this workshop, but at least we highlight it, that one of the things that we will ultimately do in this workshop is help people to focus inwardly, to see what their natural gifts are and pull those out of them, and then explore how they can use those gifts to provide extra resources. So, for instance, someone was just speaking recently about picking coconuts. Maybe that's a passion for you. Climbing up those coconut trees, picking them. Some people cut them and do whatever they do. If that's what your passion is, there is an enterprise in that passion.
Yes.
Because the way you do it, the energy you bring to it, the passion that you exude in actually accomplish it will attract customers. And after all, there's a trade that happens. You present the coconut with the water, somebody presents you money. And and that may seem like a simple example, but if you are passionate about it and that's something that you like to do, there is an enterprise in each of us, and we want to help people to discover that enterprise.
And love radiates an energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. Passion radiates an energy. Love radiates an energy. I said that when you go into your space of passion, you become innovative. You become a leader. You are disciplined in it. There's so many things that come out when you go to your place of passion. There's an enterprise in each of us.
And I know actually it's interesting that you say picking coconuts.
Yes.
Because I know and I think both of us know actual person who parks up his truck and sell dozens of coconuts and coconut water every day.
It's an enterprise.
It's an enterprise.
It's an enterprise.
Yes.
And when he sells them, if he manages that money well, I can tell you he can go places.
And now that you've drawn it to my attention, when you look at his situation,
yes,
you could see from this workshop what could transform him into a modern, advanced business, just selling coconut and coconut water.
Absolutely.
The many ways to present coconut and milk, and many ways to present coconut water and coconut jelly, and all those things.
Coconut water, coconut jelly, all of the products that come from it. Which of us don't like coconut tart? All of the products that come from it, all of the medicinal benefits that I understand coconut gives you. Look at the expansion of the product line just from having a conversation about coconut.
That's right.
So if your passion is baking, if your passion is fishing, if your passion is being agriculture, there is an enterprise in each of us. And so people don't have to worry so much about I can't afford it. What they need to do is dig deep, look inside, see what I'm passionate about, see where my area of gifting it is. And once you've discovered it, there's an enterprise in it.
Okay. Now that leads us to that spiritual component and that discipline that we started out with earlier.
Yes.
And I know you developed 6 pillars of success.
Yes.
And that ties in to all of that in a spiritual way.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that in the time we have remaining.
Yes.
About how the 6 pillars of success work towards the development of that talent that you have now were able to draw out of yourself.
Yes, from a purely spiritual point of view, I passionately believe, that we are all here for a purpose, and God has a plan for our lives. What the 6 pillars of success does is that it presents for the individual a system around which they can manifest that success, manifest that plan. So it starts with vision, which we're discussing. It moves on to integrity, because you must plant your vision in integrity, so that when the difficulties come, you will always stand. Stand in integrity. Have principles. You've got to have principles. It carries on with patience, because your vision is yet for an appointed time. You need patience. But in talking about patience, we're talking about patience within the concept of a plan. And there's a step-by-step plan. And not so much in this workshop, but in follow-up workshops, we help people to design a plan around achieving the financial goals that they've set for themselves, because you need a plan. Then we have discipline, which we're talking about, because without discipline, it's like having a bucket with holes.
You need to stick to the plan.
You need to stick to the plan. You need to wake up in the morning. Discipline is the bridge that you must cross over from having a dream to making it a reality. Without discipline, the bridge isn't there. You never get there. And so that's very important. Then you must be productive, because productivity is very important. You must be, the coconut guy must be productive in getting his coconuts and selling his coconuts, and then reinvesting that money to get more coconuts so that he can grow his business. Productivity is big. And then the last one is giftedness, which we spoke about, because in each of us there is a unique God-given gift that provides for us all of the resources we need to provide for our families and to achieve, the basic financial goals that each of us have. Sending our kids to school, building a home, and planning for a retirement.
Now, if you were to go down a list of things that we can expect,
yes,
out of the workshop expo,
yes,
what would those things be?
I think what you should expect is that you come in, and you come in empty, and that we will fill you up. We'll fill you up with information and knowledge that you can take away to begin developing and building the financial future that you deserve for you and your family. So we'll have the resources there in terms of people and organization to give you information. We'll have workbooks so that you can work through and sort out for yourself your goals. One of the things that we highlight people to, Cromwell, is what innately do you possess that would help you to achieve your goal? And one of the things, for instance, is that you may find that people say, wow, this guy, has a lot of faith. Well, if your goal is to build, a major home, because your position ultimately requires that you have that to entertain and whatever else, you may need a little faith in order to achieve that, because you don't see the money now, but you're moving in faith in order to achieve it. And so the faith that you have in you, that you exhibit to people, will be one of the innate resources that you have that will push you along the way. And so we'll help you to just identify some of those things that will help you along your journey. And then we'll help people identify through a workbook setting some of the things that they can lay aside. Some people may have, a phone plan that's costing them $199. But when they look at their goal and what they need to do in order to achieve it, they may decide to sacrifice the $199 plan to a $99 plan. Just some of those little things. You may say that
there's some things in your life that you don't really need.
You don't really need, and that you can lay them aside because now you have clarity around the goal and the place that you want to go.
That's great. And I know for those of us who have built homes, it's only faith. I can tell you, it's only faith. It ain't even money.
It's only faith. When I look back at the home that the Lord has gifted me with, when I started out, the little bit of money in hindsight I had, it could only been faith.
Only been faith.
Only could be faith.
I don't have for a fact. I testify.
Yes, only could have been faith.
Yes, my brother. So now, where's the seminar going to be held, and is there a cost?
Yes, the seminar is going to be held at UP Cineplex. Upstairs, I want to big up Elton. He's given us the complex for free, and as a result of that, we are able to charge $24.99 for people who want to come to this seminar.
That is beyond reasonable.
When you consider all of the resource persons that are going to be there, all the material that you'll get, $24.99. I want to encourage people to just take advantage of it.
You just want them to get the information.
I want them to get the information.
This ain't even about money.
Well, clearly you don't make money at those kind of prices for what we're trying to do for people. And something, you know, I'm also throwing out there, Cromwell, for young people who are 20 years, between 15 years and 20 years. You know, some people who have left high school, we want to offer it for them for free. They can come and be a part of the workshop, gather information.
Students, college students.
College students, just come out, be a part of the workshop.
Don't worry about
part of the expo.
Don't worry about the money.
Don't worry about the money. Come and just get the information. Start early. Because if you start early, the multiplier and effect of starting early will make you a millionaire if you're disciplined over your lifetime.
It's like learning the secrets of success.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of us, we go through life never learning those things that are going to make us successful.
Definitely. And I'll be there, and many institutions will be there to just share that with you in terms of what you need to do in order to be successful. So I'm just encouraging the community to come out, take advantage of the opportunity to have Banco Popular, First Bank. You can compare Scotia Bank, Nagico, Colonial Insurance, the Scholarship Trust Fund Board, the Scholarship Unit of the Ministry of Finance, MWM Financial Services, Merrill Lynch Representative, all under one, lawyers, one roof.
All the information you need to succeed.
All the information you need to succeed financially. It's going to be in one place.
Okay. And it's going to be on what day?
It's going to be on Saturday.
This Saturday coming.
This Saturday coming, the 5th, from 9 to 1 is the workshop. And again, all of those resource persons will be a part of the workshop. And then from 1 to 4, they'll just be available just to ask, for you to ask questions, for you to just get information. On the 12th, we repeat it.
Okay.
For those who couldn't come on the 5th, we repeat it on the 12th. On the 5th is International Teachers Day, or World Teachers Day. I hope I'm saying that right. And we have a special for teachers. If you are a teacher, on that day, instead of paying the $24.99, you just pay $19.99. You just pay $20 to come. So take $20 up.
You can't beat that, really.
You can't beat $20. Just come out if you are a teacher. It's open to you for $20. Just come and be a part of it as we celebrate World Teachers Day with you.
It's really exciting, man.
Yes.
And I think this is an opportunity that this is usually something that you pay $200, $300,
absolutely.
$375 for.
Absolutely.
I know people that have these seminars, it's over $200 or $300. This price is just amazing.
Just creating the information and just having the resource people there. I think it's an opportunity that I hope the community will just take advantage of.
Somebody want to contact you, get more information?
Yes, contact us at 494-4388 or email us at dgibson, that's DGIBSON, at mwmabacus.com, mwmabacus.com.
Okay, just repeat that one more time.
That's dgibson, DGIBSON, at mwmabacus.com.
And the phone number?
494-4388.
Okay. Any last word?
I just want to just encourage everyone to come out. We worked real hard over a number of months to put this workshop together. And my aim is when people come to this workshop, even if they don't come to any of the follow-up workshop, they would have gotten a boatload out of it. We packed it up. We have the resources there. Come and gather up the information that you need to plan your financial future. And it's all available for you there. Everybody is excited about coming and sharing the information with you. Come and take advantage of it. That's my encouragement.
My brother, all the best.
Yes.
Great job as usual.
Yes.
And you continue to give to the community. You continue to share your knowledge and information.
Yes.
And of course, I know it's going to be successful. I'm feeling the energy.
Yes.
Because it's too cost effective. It's too cheap.
Yes.
Just say that. it's too cheap not for people to not take advantage of it. The opportunity is too great for people not to take advantage of it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you're literally giving it away.
Yeah, and you know, and big up to all of the resource people who are coming there. They're giving up of their time, their energies. Come and take advantage of their time and energy that they're giving to you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And all the best.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. We're going to take a break for a word from our sponsors. When we come back, we're going to have the Honorable Mark Vanterpool, and we're going to be talking about the Landside Development and Cruise Fair project, and we're going to get all our questions answered tonight. Trust me. Keep it locked right here to the Spotlight. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited, Clarence Thomas Limited, and Jtvlivenet Stout Community College.
What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? Hanging out on the corner where there is no future. What are you doing with your life? Tell me, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? That's what you should do with your life.
Educational institutions are often best judged by the quality of their graduates. At the Hamilton Lapidus Stout Community College, the educational experience offered enhances the lives of graduates and through them, organizations and communities as well. I believe HLSCC graduates represent the rich tapestry of skills, attitudes and personalities needed for any community to thrive.
I am Zebulon McLean, Chief Fire Officer of the Virgin Islands Fire and Rescue Service and a proud alumnus of HLSCC,
where I obtained a Certificate of Achievement in Disaster Management and 2 associate degrees in Business Administration and Finance before furthering my studies abroad. I also serve as an adjunct lecturer at HLSCC and enjoy participating in the college's 2-mile race series. I fully support the efforts of HLSCC to deliver tertiary education to the Virgin Islands and the region. And now, because of HLSCC, I am making a difference.
Remember, at HLSCC, your tomorrow begins today.
The BVI Electricity Corporation is encouraging its users to consider solar energy. Many homeowners in the BVI have been using solar power water heating for years and have been satisfied, especially seeing the savings on their bill every month. It's time you take a serious look at using solar power water heaters. Save the environment and save money on your bills with one initial setup cost, then your hot water is free. It's time for you to use solar water heating.
Tempt your taste buds in the British Virgin Islands this November through 2 spectacular culinary events when the BVI Tourist Board presents BVI Restaurant Week and the Anegada Lobster Festival. Top-notch chefs, spiny lobster dishes, cook-offs, a VIP dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner menus at unbelievable prices, and tons of fun on these beautiful Caribbean shores. Festivities begin the 22nd of November and continue until 1st December. For more information, contact the BVI Tourist Board at 1-284-494-3134 or visit bvitourism.com/restaurant week or bvitourism.com/Anegada Lobster Festival.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Social Security. How may I help you?
I'm here to find out about my husband's Social Security. You hear about that bad accident? Tis my husband get mashed up. So I come to find out about his security.
I'll be happy to help you. Let me see what you have.
Man, I have plenty bills.
It's a lot of bills. Taxi bill, hospital bill, a ambulance bill. He went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it was a serious accident, you know. The thing fall down and he nearly kill him.
sorry to hear that.
So, when I gonna get some of that security money?
We process claims quickly. Let me just check on his contribution status. Miss, your husband's contributions are not up to date.
What? What do you mean by that?
He is registered with Social Security, yes, but contributions have not been paid in for him for over a year. I am so sorry, miss. He does not qualify to receive a benefit.
You got to be joking. He has been working all these years. What happened to his contribution? How are we going to pay all these bills? Miss, check again. Check again, miss, please. Check again.
Surprised? No need to be surprised. All insured persons should check on their contribution status at least once per year. Remember, you must secure your tomorrow today. Check on your contribution status right away.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with Honorable Mark Vanterpool, Minister of Communication and Works. I want to welcome you, my brother.
Thank you. Cromwell.
It's good to see you.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, you're not a stranger to Spotlight. You always like to get the spotlight shine on you.
Yeah, it's a little bright sometimes, but it's all right.
I got 2 spotlights on you today. I just want to alert you to the fact that there's 2 spotlights, one right there, one
yeah,
right there.
I noticed.
Yes, you noticed. Tatola Payer Partners, they came, they made a proposal, we had a consultation. We were looking forward to having the cruise ship pier expanded and the landside development, Main Street fixed up, some beaches fixed up, some historic sites fixed up. We had a big plan. We had to go after the tendering process. We had a little controversy with Royal Caribbean and so on. And then ultimately we went with Tortola Payer Partners. And now a couple of days ago, they decided you ain't going with them again. What happened? I know you say East End. What happened? What the story is?
Well, in a nutshell, Cromwell, as the Premier stated last week in his statement, we were proposed to by Tortola Payer Park as to what they can do and what they will do to improve our cruise pier and the surroundings, as well as you quite rightly said, in over a period of time, help with our city upgrade and some historical sites and so on. We obviously, once we selected them at what they proposed, proceeded to negotiate with them to ensure that what they proposed they would be able to deliver and ensure that we were getting the right value for what we were offering. And recently we came to the point after the deadline that we had given them, which was 90 days after we signed the agreement to negotiate, that the conditions that we had set out, some of them were not met. We gave them another 30 days to see if they could come forward with them. And after those 30 days, on September 19th, our negotiators advised us that they were not comfortable, the conditions were all met, and therefore advised the Premier. And the Premier met with the Cabinet, and the Cabinet made a decision to discontinue those negotiations. And because the cruise pier development is crucial to us, we decided at the same time to invite the Ports Authority to begin to undertake the same development, and therefore that's where we started.
What were the conditions that they couldn't meet?
There were about 7 conditions, as you know, Cromwell, or you may know. I told somebody, I think it's today or yesterday, that in negotiations like those, it's very difficult. While we may want to say exact exactly what may have happened. There are what you may call liable issues that we may be faced with. Therefore, we can't be too specific for saying the wrong thing that we may be held liable for. Therefore, the understanding and agreement was that we would make it clear that the conditions, some of the conditions were not met very clearly, and both sides understood that and decided to end the negotiations.
Well, they couldn't get money, they couldn't get funding, they didn't get the engineers together, the plans that they were supposed to draw up for us to see. I mean, what can you say that you won't get sued for?
That's what I don't know, so I'm not going to say. I am going to say what I know is the truth, that the conditions weren't met to our satisfaction.
And you couldn't expand it. You know, the last relationship we had, or negotiations we had with a company, with a water company, it's 3 years now, and the conditions, some of the conditions still haven't been met. But nonetheless, we still try to see how we could get them to fulfill their conditions. I mean, you can't drop a water yet.
Well, we signed an agreement which we're trying to fulfill.
So you couldn't. I mean, we expanded the time for that agreement. Why we couldn't expand the time for this agreement?
Well, I don't know what the exact conditions were then and what was happening, but in regards to this agreement, expanding the time was putting us into a very compromising position with the promise that we made to the cruise line companies to have the pay extended within a certain time to be able to handle the bigger ships that they already have slated to arrive here. You know, these cruise ships sort of put out their plans and the schedules 16 to 18 months ahead of time. And based on the promise that we have made them, they are expecting to have that cruise pair ready for their bigger ships by the cruise season 2014. Therefore, we felt by continuing negotiations and extending more time without any certainty could compromise ourselves in terms of delivering what we promised the cruise ship community.
No, Tortola Pay Partners had a deal with Norwegian Airline and Disney Cruise Line and Disney Cruise Line to bring, I think, almost 500,000 passengers.
425,000.
425,000 passengers a year into the territory. Do we still have that deal?
The Port Authority has already begun to negotiate to maintain a similar deal, and from what I know, the cruise lines are very keen to maintain that. They're very keen to continue along those lines, and they're very keen to work with the Port Authority on carrying that same guarantee out. But it's in the middle of discussions along those lines.
Okay, so it's likely that we may still be able to make that have that
yes,
partnership.
Yes, the cruise lines are very desirable of continuing a similar partnership. Very desirable.
Okay. Now, you got to build a dock fast, at least a dock fast. Who are you going to get? The designs, the plans, are you going to have to do those over? Or, you know, who got the contractors going to be? You got to get new contractors, got to go out for tendering again. How is that whole process going to work when starting over, going forward?
A very good question, Cromwell, because what we had done a couple of months ago, while we were negotiating, considering the timeline, we permitted the Tortola Pay Park group to go out and do the engineering, the architectural work, and all of the research that was to be done. The Port Authority had undertaken an EIA study and so on. And those works that we authorized them to go ahead and carry out, we agreed on the value that they should be, the Port Authority and the Tortola Pay Park Group. The value is, you may recall, a number that was in the press of $1.7 million for a list of works that we have agreed to. And the agreement was that if the negotiations would have broken off, as they have, that the Port Authority will become the owners of those works. And once those works are presented and verified, the Port Authority will pay for them. So the works, most of the works are ready, and there's discussion and negotiations already to receive that information to be able to move forward quickly.
So the plans are not going to change that radically,
No,
so that we don't have to get all a new beginning.
No. All along, the Port Authority was working with this group to ensure that the plans that they were developing were to our specifications, were to the ship specifications. In fact, we had an engineer hired on our side who was working with their engineers to ensure that they were the right set of plans that could satisfy the needs and the specifications that the cruise liners required. And so our engineer had already, agreed with them, a very professional, internationally accepted engineer by the cruise line companies who worked on our side to verify that they were doing the correct engineering. So those plans and information are available there, and we would have access to them to be able to execute the project very quickly.
Okay. Now, we were giving Norwegian and Disney some preferential treatment. Does this allow us now to expand our partnership with other cruise lines, say Royal Caribbean and Carnival and others, to increase the number of passengers along with the deal that we're trying to make with the partners we had in the past?
We always, even with the deals we're making with Norwegian Cruise Lines and Disney, we're making room for all of the cruise line companies, especially those companies who have been very good to us over the many years, including Royal Caribbean and Carnival. We've had several meetings with them up to 2 weeks ago before this deal fell through. I was in Miami meeting with Carnival. The managing director was meeting with Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean government relations person was here to meet with me the week before. We had lunch and discussed a lot of matters concerning what they do here, and we have a very good relationship. And we want to make sure that room is made for them to come to the BVI and continue to serve the BVI in the cruise line business. So we establish a relationship where we will make room to ensure that those cruise lines continue to come. And that's what we will be doing in this case.
How you left off your relationship with Tortola Pair Partners? Are they going to play a role in the project still?
Tortola Pair Partners as a group will not play a role. However, we believe that it will be useful for us to consult or have particular areas that we think they were expert in to consult to us. So there are discussions about that. We haven't made any agreements up to this point, but we have ended a good relationship. They agreed that they didn't meet the conditions precedent, and therefore, they amicably agreed to move on. But we will be looking at some of the expertise that they have within their group, and may hire them on an individual basis to consult to the Port Authority on what services they can provide. So there are some discussions already started along those lines, and we hope that they can come to fruition.
One of the challenges was that we didn't have any money. And in my words, we was taking on a mortgage. I looked at it as a mortgage. You go to the bank, you put up some collateral, you get a loan, you pay back over 30 years. Of course, if the house costs you $150,000, after 30 years, you pay $400,000 for the house. That's a standard procedure. And so that seemed to be the way we were going based on our financial situation at the time and our need to expand our ports and our cruise industry. How is it going to be funded? What's different now? How are we able to get money now?
Probably in early 2012, when we took a look at what the cruise pair development was, what was needed to make it viable and to be expanded as the cruise lines required. I had a meeting in Miami with the cruise line companies. They outlined exactly what they were looking for us to stay in the cruise line business. And at the time, we felt that we weren't in a position to do the development financially. There were a lot of questions at the time with our relationship with the United Kingdom. There was a loan hanging in the air, as you remember, Caribbean Development Bank loan that wasn't approved by the UK in terms of what's going forward. And so a lot of questions were there. This government, under the leadership of the Premier Minister of Finance, set about to improve that relationship with the UK government, to improve the atmosphere in terms of borrowing and so on. We went ahead and agreed with the UK government that we will put aside a certain amount each year until we can come technically compliant with what they want to see us have in reserves. And based on that, the UK government suggested, okay, if you're going to follow that line, we will allow you to borrow up to a certain amount. even though you don't have the full reserves yet, if you continue on a yearly basis to put aside that amount, we will be willing to go along and approve what you want to do for your developments. So the atmosphere have changed between then and now. We have, through the Port Authority, have been in negotiations in the last week or so, last couple of days with banks to see whether we can raise the funding to do this project. And we have got some positive responses, nothing formal yet, but we are continuing to pursue that through the Port Authority. And hopefully we'll be able to raise the funding to get the project moving fairly quickly.
How much funding are we talking about?
I don't have exact numbers yet. We have a team assessing what the cost of the project should be from our end. We had a cost figure from the last group of $62 million project. We don't believe it has to be that high. There's certain aspects that we may be able to leave out. But we have a team assessing what the project size is going to be. And once the team in the next week or two gives us a firm figure that we think we can work with, we will be discussing with the banks. But we have to give the bank the indication that we want to build it. The pay side, which is what we are very keen on moving along, we have given the bank a figure in the region of $25 million for that. And then the land side development we'll be looking at. And then later on, we will see how we can discuss and review how the land side development can be funded. And we have some ideas, but we will be putting it out to the public as how we think we can deal with that in terms of getting the public involved in the land side development especially.
What are our plans to collateralize that $25 million with the banks?
The banks are very keen on the agreements we will make with the cruise lines. That's their main interest in terms of collateralizing it. They want to make sure that we have that guarantee that they can rely on that revenue.
Okay, so it's not so much giving up land or giving land as collateral. Will we have to give the bank land as collateral, one? Or is it more that they're satisfied with the 425,000 tourists guaranteed to come on an annual basis?
I can't say about the land issue yet because the bank, I'm sure, will be putting out their requirements, what they might need. I don't know what those are yet. But certainly the discussions that we've had with them so far as I know it, they are very keen on ensuring that we have some guarantee from the cruise lines that they can rely on that revenue to repay the loan. So that's as far as we have gotten. The land side development and what the banks will require from that yet, we don't know, and we haven't really discussed that in full as yet.
Are we still planning the land side development? Are we going to scale back that development? Are we going to go forward with the development as it was planned with the
cruise lines are wishing and requiring that we continue with land side development in a similar way that we had discussed before.
Are they giving us any assistance? Are they coming into any partnership agreement as far as the land side development is concerned?
At this point, we don't have any agreements along those lines, and we're not discussing anything along those lines.
What about contingent liability with the Port Authority? You seem to suggest that because it's a Port Authority, because it's a statutory body, it has certain legal parameters that it could engage in to get this loan. But we know that the government is ultimately responsible for whatever that the statutory bodies incur. How is that going to play out with the UK regarding the contingent liability that's going to pose on the government, particularly regarding the borrowing guidelines?
I don't know exactly what we worked out yet. I know that there are two things. One, from the point of view of the government guaranteeing the Port Authority loan, that may not be necessary, but the banks will, whether they require it or not, it will left to be seen. The other side of it is that whatever the Port Authority borrows, in relationship to the central government's what you call ceiling, in terms of what the UK have authorized us through our protocols for financial management, 20% of whatever they borrow will be held against that ceiling. So if, let's say, the ceiling is that we have is 240 million, and the government presently have 110 million borrowed. The other 130 million will be reduced by 10 million, let's say, or 5 million or 2 million, depends on what the port is borrowing. 20% of whatever the borrowing, it will be held against that.
Okay. Now, everybody in the community now who have been wishing for this situation to develop, where BVI land, the Virgin Islanders, can have a greater participation in this project, is looking for the government to make some kind of facility where I could take my $2 out from under the mattress, from in my pillow, and bring it and plunk it down on your table and say, brother, help build the port with this, the pair with this, and pay me back in 10 years and give me $4 back, give me $2.
Yeah, well, I hope it's more than 2, Carmel, but yes, we're hoping to develop and establish as a vehicle. Exactly what that form that will take, we don't know yet, but the Port Authority is going to go ahead and do the project, and we're hoping that within a year or so, within the year that they're doing the project, we can begin to discuss and develop that vehicle with the public and get the public involved in the development.
Why we not discussing and trying to develop the facility initially?
Develop the facility, or you mean the
facility, the way in which we can invest?
We're going to be discussing that very, very shortly, but the need to get moving right away can't wait for us to make that discussion, wait for that discussion to be had. But we will begin to discuss it because we're very keen on local involvement. We've always been, you know, we had asked for 20% of whatever the project development was to be for locals. If it could be 50, if it could be 100, if it could be 80, I think we'll be much happier if the BVI public could own the entire project, if that was possible. And who knows, it may be at the end of the day. It doesn't mean it can't be, but we think we want to move and then begin to develop that vehicle to have the public involved.
Well, certainly we are thinking right now that we are going to own that whole project. I'm going to take a word from our sponsor. When I come back, I'm going to ask you about what that means in terms of our ownership and how that's going to benefit local store owners and what impact it'll have on the community right after these words from our sponsors. Keep it locked right here to Spotlight. We'll be right back.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
Calling all CCT Internet customers. Did you know if you have CCT Internet service including internet on your phone, you can connect to CCT's 4G Wi-Fi service free of charge. That means you can enjoy unlimited high-speed CCT Wi-Fi on any Wi-Fi device. Browse the web, check your mail, stay connected to any of CCT BVI's hotspots for free. Call CCT today and request your exclusive CCT Wi-Fi username and password and join the CCT Wi-Fi network. CCT, the home of unlimited.
For any job, be it residential or commercial, Clarence Thomas Limited is the British Virgin Islands' best choice for a wide variety of supplies to help tackle any task. Refresh the interior and exterior of your home with our selection of paint and painting supplies. For home improvements, CTL is your one-stop source for sinks, tubs, toilets, faucets, and decorative products. Convert your yard into a landscape paradise with tools and supplies from our lawn and garden center. Or visit our lumber yard where you can build that house from the ground up. Visit our convenience stores location at Pasea, Port Purcell and Tortola, and the Valley Virgin Gorda. We provide something for everyone. Clarence Thomas Limited, the best products at the lowest prices, period. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Educational institutions are often best judged by the quality of their graduates. At the Hamilton Lapidus South Community College, the educational experience offered enhances the lives of graduates and through them, organizations and communities as well. I believe HLSCC graduates represent the rich tapestry of skills, attitudes and personalities needed for any community to thrive. I am Zebulon McLean, Chief Fire Officer of the Virgin Islands Fire and Rescue Service and a proud alumnus of HLSCC, where I obtained a Certificate of Achievement in Disaster Management and 2 associate degrees in Business Administration and Finance before furthering my studies abroad. I also serve as an adjunct lecturer at HLSCC and enjoy participating in the college's 2-mile race series. I fully support the efforts of HLSCC to deliver tertiary education to the Virgin Islands and the region. And now, because of HLSCC, I am making a difference.
Remember, at HLSCC, your tomorrow begins today.
Life is like a mountain you must climb. Life is like a treasure you must find. A baby learning how to talk. With just one step begins to walk. One step at a time will lead you to paradise. Your dreams are there to find. One step to paradise.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I have the Honorable Mark Vanterpool with me this evening, Minister of Communication and Works, and I have two spotlights on him. You can see his head is a little shiny, he's sweating. just a little fun. The phone lines are going to be open. You're going to get an opportunity to question the minister as well. We are going till at least 10 o'clock this evening. So, you know, the phone number's up on the screen. There you go. You can call. If you don't want us to hear your voice, you can text, and the minister will be happy to answer all the questions that I might forget to ask you. So that was your time to get a chance to question the minister. We left off talking, of course, about the development, the landside development, the funding, and so on. And you mentioned the protocols for financial management and the UK involvement, and a lot of people are interested in that aspect of it, and still concerned about the relationship with the UK and how you're going to get past them. It's like they are this the gorilla with the big stick, and you little fellows down here trying to weasel your way or through them and do what you want to do, and basically misbehave, and they got to keep you in line. That's the image, I think. It's a community image that we are a little colony, and the UK is suffocating us.
No, not at all, Cromwell. In fact, I try to explain to as many persons as I can the experience I have working with the government and working in the cabinet, that the United Kingdom, we have a relationship. And from what I've seen, it's a very good relationship. Our Premier works very closely with the governor, and in fact very directly sometimes with London, through the FCO, whether it's the minister responsible for overseas territories or his advisors. And in fact, many times they give us very good advice. We call them and consult them for advice on certain things, whether it's economic advice. They have good economic advisors in FCO. When we're putting together agreements and deals like these, they're very useful to us because they've gone through them before, and they've either failed or have made them successful. So we have a very good relationship. The governor here, in his role, to represent and be the conduit for us through the FCO, does his job. If he doesn't think something is comfortable, or as you may say, kosher, his job is to advise and let us know and let them know. And we work very closely on that. Of course, in anything you'll have disagreements, but it's not like that at all. We have a very open and mature relationship with the United Kingdom government. In this process that we do, naturally, they are the ones who are like our backstop, that, as we would say, since we have the kind of relationship that we have where they have certain responsibility for us as a territory. So we have to, at all times, at least get their advice, let them know what we are doing, get their sign off. Even if you go the route we are going now with the Port Authority, we have to get the UK sign off on it and have them comfortable with what we are doing. So we have to present our case, let them be comfortable, and get the agreement that we can go forward in this manner. So we're preparing for that and want to work with them closely. But they're not a big bad dog with a big stick up there, as we may think. They work very closely with us, and many times very good advice comes through them. So we want to say that that's clear. In that sense.
How confident are you that they will support this new move that the government is making?
I'm relatively confident that they will. I think the business deal that we're putting forward in terms of how it's going to be structured, with the cruise lines involved in the guarantee is going to I think give them some level of comfort, and I think they will realize that what we are doing will, in the way we are doing it, will benefit the people of the Virgin Islands even more. We don't have to share our revenue anymore. And hopefully they will agree to that, and the revenue that we will achieve from this project will accrue, ultimately all of it, to the people of the Virgin Islands, and I think they will be willing to support that.
Now, there's one thing I personally like to have made clear to me, because when we talk about the $1.7 million that the government was going to spend for the plans and so on, it sounded like it could mean that as part of getting out of the deal, we had a penalty to pay. We had to pay for things that were done already. Yeah. And so the $1.7 million is actually paying to get out of the deal.
No, not at all. Very clearly, it's very simple. And you know negotiations and how business works. It was very clear to all of us. We've made some agreements, heads of terms, and the agreement said that at a certain time, 90 days later, if Tortola Pier Park Group did not meet the conditions precedent, the government could have just said, thank you very much, goodbye, gentlemen. The government said, okay, after those 90 days, we give you another 30 days. After those 30 days, it weren't ready, we said, thank you very much, goodbye, gentlemen. No strings attached, no conditions. They weren't met, and we just walked away. Now, we made provisions that in the event that this happened, that the time that we spent, we asked to be spent on engineering drawings and architectural drawings and planning and so on, that time won't be lost. That was an agreement we made. That time won't be lost if the negotiations break down. But whatever drawings or whatever work was done, and we had a list of them, and we agreed prices for each one, that came to $1.7 million. And once they can produce to us each of those items, with the value that we have for those, we will pay for it. So it's not a penalty or anything like that. In fact, it's what we wanted, and we are glad that we made that agreement early before.
So buying these things from them, these works that have already been done, will save you the time, save the government the time in having to do them over again.
Yeah, because we would have to pay for them. We would have to go and hire people to do them anyway.
Okay.
And perhaps even a higher cost, who knows. But the main thing was that we'd have lost a lot of time to get them done.
And since you're not changing the plans to such an extent, these still can work.
We just adapt them.
You just
adapt them to the project.
Well, that's a little.
So there's no penalty for walking away.
That's a little clearer. Now, we were talking about the local involvement, and the challenge, of course, is you're rushing again. You know, you're always rushing. People say you're rushing, you're rushing, you're rushing. And the bottom line is that we are now going to own the
entire project
and the landside development.
Yes.
There was a provision made for 25%. 20%. No. I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
No, not 25%. I think 25 spaces in the development.
Correct.
For local businesses
Yes.
to have in the landside development.
Yes.
That situation will change, obviously.
We can do whatever we want now in terms of how we present that. It's the Port Authority's project.
So we're looking at having multinationals, large multinationals come in, or I mean, what have the thoughts been on
there will
how
be
that's
some.
going to be structured
If I
now?
tell you there won't be some multinationals in there, I wouldn't be telling the truth. I'm sure the cruise lines and all the persons who support the project want to see some of the Diamonds International, Dufry, or whatever they are, all those companies that do jewelry and that kind of thing in there. They're requiring that they be there. But how many will be there versus how many locals we can put in there, that's something that we can determine.
Okay. And I had to say, I had the occasion to be in St. Thomas about a month or so ago, and a cruise ship was in the harbor, and I remember the days when St. Thomas, the cruise ship, when cruise ships come in, you couldn't get a taxi, Yeah, you couldn't walk on Main Street.
True.
It was just a real traffic
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium, right? But this particular time, I noticed that, and there's a bookstore and a health store in Havenside that I usually go to. And I happened to be in Havenside and noticed that all the tourists were in Havenside. And when I went down Main Street, the managers were hanging out the door, gawking, trying to get you to come in the store. The Main Street the traffic was like a pedestrian mile on Main Street in St. Thomas, which was unheard of. And I was sad, actually.
Yeah.
I was sad because in my mind, I said to myself, Lord, I hope this don't happen in Tortola, because these are things that I've seen in quite a few places. What are we going to do to make sure that type of situation don't develop here?
It's a concern, Cromwell, and I think what we have been looking at, in fact, we're expecting that approximately 8,000 passengers on any particular day can come off the ships. How we disperse them?
8,000?
Well, 4,000 each ship. And if two ships are in a day,
the bigger ships, yes.
you're talking about 8,000 passengers, and then you have another 2,000 or 3,000 crew. And half of them normally get off and want to get a break and get off the ship. So we will want to find ways, and there are ways that you can use to disperse them all over the territory, not just in one area. So you would design it in a way that you can have people going on tours that will be either pre-booked or booked there. You can have them shopping in the park itself, or you can have your promotions to promote these tourists to go down to historical sites, Craft Alive, walk them over to the main street and have them do main street walks, main street tours, museum tours, and so on, so that they can be dispersed throughout the city, as well as those who may go on tours to visit historical sites and so on. So when you have that number of persons, I think you can share it around. Obviously, we'll want to encourage them to take some of the ferry boats over to our sister islands and make connections there and so on, so that we can spread it around. So it is going to be an organized way of moving people around, but it has worked before, and I believe we can make it work.
So this is a definite, deliberate plan that the ministry is looking at to disperse the passengers and not have all. I mean, obviously 8,000 won't be able to stay on the dock.
Yeah.
But to have them
and all don't normally come out of the ship either. To be fair.
Yeah, right.
So the all 8,000 may not get off, but you want to encourage as many to come off as possible.
But you definitely had deliberate plans that you're going to use to disperse them throughout the territory, not just on Tortola, but Virgin Gorda, Jasper Dyke, and other islands as well.
Yes.
That could manage that situation while the ship is in port.
Yes, and in fact, we want to be working with a group who is very professional at that and how that happens. And that's one of the things we're looking at very closely. The Port Authority will be working with a group on that to ensure that we can make that happen.
Development of Main Street, that was something that's something that we've been talking about for years. And it came up to the front again, with the landside development, and to have it expanded over into Main Street and have that developed along with some of our historic sites and so on, and the Tortola Pair partners were going to help us with that, with some of those developments.
They'd agree that they will help us to fund some of that.
That must have changed. How are we going to manage that situation?
We're going to have to do that ourselves now. And Cromwell, all of the revenue is going to be ours now, so we can put a certain amount of our revenue towards that and make that happen. So that's what we're going to be planning. I think it's going to begin this coming week or month, where we're putting together a city development team. You may recall Mr. Ivor Jackson, who would come and help us develop the plan. He's going to be here for the next 3 months helping us, working with our city manager, Jan Brathwaite, and we're going to be touching some of the local expertise on that team to begin to look at the boardwalk the Main Street development, the things like Queen Elizabeth Park and how we connect all these places, and so on. So there is a team that we're putting together to begin the process of our city development that we hope we can come to the public with in a short time and get the public to buy into what we're going to be trying to do, or get their ideas as to what we're going to try to do. But we're going to be trying to follow the city development plan that was put together some years ago, and make some modifications as the public may recommend.
Okay. You're watching Spotlight. I'm here with the Honorable Mark Vanderpool, Minister of Communication and Works, and we're talking about the cruise ship park, the cruise ship development, the cruise ship pier development, along with the landside development. The numbers on the screen. Use the opportunity to call. We have another 10 minutes remaining, so don't wait till the last minute to call us. So if you've got a question, something you don't understand, something you need clarification on, something I forgot to ask, now is your opportunity to do it. If you don't want your voice heard, you can always text me. Traffic is going to be a problem. We're looking at what we're looking to do about the traffic in Rural Town.
It is going to be a problem.
Whether the cruise ships are in or not.
Yeah, so and the same team I'm telling you about, headed by Ms. Cyber Jackson, will be looking at a number of issues like that to be helping us to coordinate how we're going to make some adjustments to our roads or traffic or parking, a number of issues like that we're looking at. There's some ideas that we have that we put forward, some that the Public Works Department have been looking at. But we want to do it in a holistic manner, so we're trying to put together the plans to come to the public with and start doing certain things that we think can help with traffic. A very simple one I'll give you that I'm touting all the time, but I'm not getting a lot of attention. When you come from over Mayors and down by the burial ground there, Methodist Church burial ground, rather than all the traffic going to the courthouse and down to the roundabout, could we route the traffic down Main Street at that time, rather than coming up Main Street as a one-way, and get the traffic in the morning going that way, all the way down to the International Department Store, rather than going to the roundabout, going down along One Stop Mall, we'll fix that road a little better, and go down there and get down to the admin building and through town easily. And the area that you can't turn right on to go down, you can establish a street light there to be able to regulate the traffic, to turn right and go down. So in the mornings, traffic can get the flow a lot better down to town, rather than go all the traffic going towards the roundabout, and in the afternoons you can turn it the other way to go back up, and that's the kind of things we're thinking about.
Okay, cool. I got a text. The head tax with the Tortola Pier Parks was $15. Is that going to remain the same? Are we going to be able to charge our head tax? Can we raise our head tax that way?
The head tax, we expect it to remain at 15 with the agreements we are discussing, and in fact, Cromwell, that $15 is law, effective July 2014. It's already passed in House of Assembly.
Okay.
It becomes in effect July 2014. With the negotiations we're going to be making, we want to be looking at it, obviously, whether it becomes into effect on that date or a different date, but it is going to be expected to be part of the agreement as we go forward.
And of course, the portion that would have gone to the developer will not be going to the bank.
To the Port Authority. And hopefully the Port Authority will pay the bank with it. So yes, that's how it's expected to happen, yeah. So we look forward to that. The cruise lines, to be honest with you, and I am for full disclosure when I can, the cruise lines would like a little more time before the $15 kick in, because they have already advertised their bookings 16 months out, but that's something we have in discussions with them on a regular basis.
Well, now, of course, now my question is, did they want that when Tortola Pier Park was in the position, or now that they're not, now they want to have that extension?
No, even before they were discussing it, I had to make a special trip to Miami to meet with Carnival along those lines, and Royal, and all of the cruise lines have been discussing whether we can delay that for a little longer or not, and that's something that we have to consider, but it's not something we've made a commitment about. I know it's in the law that July 2014 it becomes $15.
Okay. Thank you very much for calling Spotlight. Right ahead, please. You on Spotlight, speak?
Yeah. Good night, Honorable.
Good night, my friend.
Yeah. suggestion on the traffic. Yeah, honorable innovators.
I listen to you, my friend. Keep
Yeah, a suggestion with the traffic, right? The high school traffic in the morning with the guys, the parents dropping off the kids and the buses.
Yes.
Between the courthouse going up to UP Cinema, you have the fence where the high school had the volleyball court, I think.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking if you move that fence in a little more and you make parking where the bus, instead of dropping off the kids in the middle of the road, the bus can always pull in there and let off the kids. And that's the way probably the traffic will flow a little more in the morning there.
Yes, I believe it's a very good suggestion. I think there's some discussion on it. I don't know exactly what yet. There are one or two little issues, but I think they can be overcome. But it's a suggestion that's welcome, and I think it's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay, honorable.
Thank you.
Enjoy the show, man. Do your thing.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That's not a bad idea.
No, it's been bounced around. There are a couple of issues. I can't remember exactly what they were in terms of them, but it is safer to pull in and let the kids off in there.
And it's a big space.
And it's a big space. So it's something that we have been considering. That entire space there with the high school, the House of Assembly, and that there is a study as to how it can be better organized.
Okay, and then of course that will be coming in the near future.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, who's gonna do the building? Who's gonna build the project? Build a land side development. What's going to be the role played by our local contractors? How much of that money is going to stay in the territory? Where are we going to buy the materials from? Are we going to make a facility with our local materials providers to import the material at a different cost? Whatever the structure needs to be, so that more of that money stays here and more of that money circulates and beneficial to the economy.
We'll be putting together a project team from what I have seen. The port is working on that. We are expecting to have a lot of local involvement in that project team. And what we are hoping will happen is that we can look at two phases. One phase is the pier development, which has some crucial factors in it. One is dredging, and it's some very what we call deep sea dredging, down to 40 or 40-something feet of dredging. So we are going to expect to put those kinds of things out to bid. The piling, there's some I think it's 36-inch piles that have to be used there. And so we're going to put that out to a bid also through the project management team. There is some sheet piling to be able to hold the sand that's going to be dredged, where we're going to reclaim. So that's another part of the project. And then there's the actual pier to be built. So we're going to put all those out to bid in different formats, so that people can come forward and bid on them. And there's a lot of local expertise that can do a lot of this. In terms of the equipment and so on, I'm not sure, especially for the 36-inch piles, but I'm sure our local people who are involved in that type of business can contract with others who have the equipment to be able to do it. So we're going to try to involve as much of our locals as possible. The landside development they're two-story buildings that all locals can have all the expertise to build. And so we're going to be looking at putting those out to bid for locals to be able to build them. So I believe there's be a lot of work to go around, and I hope that we can get our local folks geared up to get involved and get the work done, and get it done as quickly as possible when we get moving.
Yeah, because our argument is that what we can do, we can buy.
Yes.
If there's expertise that we need, we can buy. The equipment that we need, we can rent or lease or buy.
Yeah.
I remember when we were getting ready to build a hospital, one of my arguments were on the radio was that James Stadman built your building, he built all them buildings up there, and where CCT is and so on, actually Rate Up buildings. Those are big buildings like the hospital. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand why he couldn't build a hospital. Well, eventually, he ended up finishing the hospital. They're pulling us out of the hole and did a fantastic job with it. So, you know, why can't we do that same thing with
I know,
ports?
and we can do that with the ports, but it's not so simplistic as you said about hospital. I'm from a business level, and I try to understand that, because when you build a hospital for 60 or 75 million or 100 million, somebody will provide a bond, which is a very high cost to do it. In other words, a bond is required, and quite often it's not so much the government that makes these requirements. It's the lenders, whoever is lending you the money, want to make sure certain things are in place. So, you know, you want to be able to get it out there for your local people to get involved, but sometimes it's to a stage where the bonding and insurance and those kind of things are too heavy. And then to break it down in pieces, sometimes the lenders don't agree to that. They want one contractor to be responsible, so that if something goes wrong with the building, they can sue them. And get the bank or the lender can get the money back. So sometimes it's not as simple. Now, this project that we are doing, we think we can simplify it to make sure that happens. We are ensuring that we're going to ensure, hopefully, that when we negotiate with the lender, that they don't put those kind of stipulations in there that will prevent us from having our locals to be involved in an organized way. So we are very confident we can get our locals involved. We need this project urgently to help to stimulate the economy, and we don't need it to give to outside people to stimulate the economy, you know. We need to give it to locals to stimulate the economy. So, and that's what we're doing. And even on the Total Pay Park group, we were stipulating that the work we done locally, and it was going to be very clear. They were aware of that. They had already started consulting with locals on the matter if they had to go that route. So we were very clear that we wanted to make this project positively affect the local economy, even in, as you said, in terms of materials from companies. And I hope that we can gear up to have the local suppliers meet with whoever's going to do the buildings and negotiate prices and make agreements so that we can get the local economy stimulated, both from the worker level and from the supplier level, that we can get a lot of stimulation from this project. So we're anxious to get it moving.
What you're expecting from the people at BVI? What kind of support you need from us? We are frontline attorney at the clock. So, and whatever else I forgot to ask when you want to add, that's your opportunity.
Well, since we've done this, I've gotten a lot of positive support. People want to see this project done. In fact, you know, we in the way that we are going to do it, we hope that it can impact the community a lot stronger. And in fact, I hope that when we come and come up with a plan, whether we come up with a company, a group that we will form to invite people to invest in the project, that people won't be afraid to come forward and be able to be a part of it. And we are going to make that open invitation to people to do that in a not too distant future. So we are looking forward to that. And but we hope that before the year is out, we can get cracking. You know, these things have some delays sometimes, but we are putting it together as quickly as possible. We're going to put forward all the numbers and all the information and all the plans. From where we at, I'm freer to come to the public on a regular basis and inform us as to how we are going. And I will be doing that on a regular basis, whether it's every 2 weeks, every month. I'll be willing to come forward to the public and say, we've reached this far. We have this roadblock. We're trying to get it to deal with this way. And this is where we are going. And now is when we are planning to do the first set of piling. We plan to do the first set of dredging. I'm going to try to keep the public as informed as possible.
We can expect full transparency.
Very open.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carmel.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Next week, the spotlight will be on leadership conference at the Eileen Parsons Auditorium. Also, we'll have gender affairs here to talk about building healthy relationships. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your words of encouragement, your suggestions and criticism. Continue to email me at jtvspotlight@yahoo.com. I'm Edjuenka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Clarence Thomas Limited, the BVI Tourist Board, and CCT Global Communications.
Calling all CCT Internet customers. Did you know if you have CCT Internet